The materials needed to make the coil vessel base are a clay supply, solo cup, slip bottle, pen tool, and if you choose, a wooden blending tool. Begin by portioning off enough clay to make the bottom of the base. Roughly, it should be about the size of a golf ball. Keep your clay supply covered in a bag to prevent drying. To make the bottom of the base, form the clay into a ball. Then use your palm to flatten it. Pinch from the center to the outer edge until the clay is 1/4 inch thick and large enough in diameter to trace the cup. Pat out the clay. Place the solo cup in the center. Cut around the perimeter of the cup with the pen tool. Remove the excess and then flatten it for recycling. Carefully twist off the cup and buff both sides for a smooth texture. Score the perimeter by closely hatching with the pen tool. I cross-hatch for extra surface area and grip. To roll the first base coil, form the clay into a rough coil. Start with fingertips following through to the heel of your hand. Try to apply an even pressure. If the clay forms a flat edge, turn it to the rounded side and press down. As the coil grows, you will need to roll from left to right as you roll up and down. A lump of clay slightly smaller than a golf ball should be enough to roll out a 1/4 inch base coil. Make sure the thickness of the coil is consistent. Place the base coil around the bottom to check for length. If you have a lot of excess, use less clay for the second coil. Cut the coil through the overlapping ends, careful not to cut the bottom of the base. Remove the excess from the top and below the coil. Now you can score the coil. Shake the slip bottle and blot the slip on the scored trail of the base bottom. Firmly join the scored trail of the coil to the scored trail of the base bottom. Join the coil evenly to the edge to make sure there's no overlap. Cut through the coil ends, remove the excess, and blend the coil ends together. Brace the exterior of your base as you mop up the excess slip with a dry sponge. This protects the form. Roll out the second base coil and layer it right above the first coil. As long as the clay is plastic, only the first coil needs to be slipped and scored. To complete the base, you will need to blend both coils into the bottom base. You may choose to do this with a tool or your finger. Make sure you are consistent all the way around the interior. Brace the exterior as you blend. Use a tool or your finger to blend around the interior and to remove extra clay. As long as they're plastic, clay bits can be used to fill in shallow places. After smoothing the interior, blend the first coil to the base. If you want the base to look thicker, you can blend the top coil as well. I usually just blend the bottom. Continue to blend and smooth around the exterior for an even surface. If the top coil begins to form cracks, buff them out to keep the clay plastic. Once the base is completed, refer to your plan. If you've chosen to create a cylindrical vessel, you will need to stack coils evenly atop each other to form straight vertical walls. If you've chosen to create a bowl, you will stack coils slightly overlapping towards the exterior. Each coil will need to be slightly longer than the previous.